All right, let me go on to another crazy story that's come out of Prince Harry's book, The Spare, where he felt obliged to tell the world about the night he lost his virginity as a 16 or 17-year-old at the back of a pub with someone he described as an older woman. Turns out she was a couple of years older than him and actually is younger than his current wife.
There's something really distasteful about this. Perhaps it's the way Harry remembers things. You know, as the palace said, recollections may vary. Recollections certainly varied in this case. He made out in his memoir that this was an older woman that used him, you know, treated him like a young stallion. But it turns out, according to this lady that's come out and said, I am the older woman. Number one, she's 2 years older than him. Number two, they were actually friends. And number three, you could even argue that she was the vulnerable one and not him, because she said that he attempted to comfort her with tequila shots when she saw that her ex-boyfriend had walked into the pub where she was celebrating her birthday with another woman. I don't think it's made Harry look very good, actually. I think it's made him look like a liar again. But it also sounds like he sort of took advantage of a vulnerable girl and then never texted her again, even on a birthday, which I think is a pretty low-down thing to do.
The extraordinary thing here, though, is that she's now out there public. He put this into the public arena. Her name is Sasha Walpole, and she's saying, well, she's basically kept stum about this the whole time. She's been sensible and private about it. Could have sold this story to the media any time, I guess. But it's Harry's book that has forced this story out into the public. Here's a little bit of what she's had to say.
I didn't know Harry was a virgin at the time. It wasn't until probably the next morning when I actually thought about it. I was a bit, oh no, not because of him being a prince. It was just the fact that I'd slept with one of my friends and it was Harry. And yeah, but then it kind of dawned on me that perhaps he was, because obviously he'd never really had a girlfriend, I suppose, that I knew of back then. You know, it was just a quickie in the field.
Yeah, well, I hope she got a quid for it now, Dominique, because as I say, she's the one who's had this forced into the public arena.
Exactly. I mean, it's not fair. And obviously reading the memoir, the people that they knew, the people around them would be reading that. And obviously they weren't there in the field. So they'd be thinking, wait a minute, you took advantage of Prince Harry? I think what it really says to me is that I think he was silly and abused a position of power that he probably shouldn't have. And for him to include it in the memoir, I mean, I don't know. The thing with Harry is he seems to interpret things where he is always actually the victim. And then when you actually speak to the other people involved in the story, it turns out Harry actually wasn't the victim. Maybe he remembered it like that to make Meghan happy. Who knows?
Maybe he should just not write in a book about when he lost his virginity. We don't need to know that. It's not a part of his life he needs to share with people. He's just doing that sort of nonsense to make a buck, and it's pretty ugly. Thanks for joining us, Dominique. I'll catch up next week.